We want to continue to talk about the economy. Big jobs report coming out tomorrow. Now that the government shutdown is over, we are finally going to get some economic numbers coming back out. We are going to be getting the September jobs report that is due around 8:30 in the morning Eastern time tomorrow. So there is a lot to talk about that. And could it continue some of the momentum that we are seeing right now in the after hours as the AI boom continues after NVIDIA threw out a really big earnings. We'll talk about that in just a moment as well. But I want to bring in our next guest to help break down the jobs numbers that are coming out. Please welcome everyone. Sarah Foster, economic analyst with Bankrate.com. Great to have you on. And this is the moment that we have been waiting for quite some time.
You're right. I keep saying it's better late than never. Of course, it's September, so it's a little bit of a lag here. Also, we just got news today that the October jobs report has officially been canceled by the Bureau of Labor Statistics. So at this point, it's going to be the most important data release that we get, officially in 2 months on the job market. When we started to see some worrisome signs, at least in the private sector data, looking at job cuts, layoffs rising, we're really worried that this job market could be transitioning from a no hire, no fire environment into something closer to a no hire, start firing scenario. But of course, we can only really wait for the official government statistics, which are the most robust, to confirm that.
And it seems like there's going to be so much emphasis, of course, on this because it is finally coming back. And also, this is really going to zero in maybe what the Federal Reserve is going to do when it comes to a possible another cut.
The Fed's next rate decision a few months ago was looking like it was set in stone. The Fed said that they were, their baseline estimate was that they would cut at 3 of their remaining meetings this year. All in the span of just 6 weeks, though, it's really started to be taken off the table. Just before I got on our conversation, I was looking at the latest odds and CME Group's FedWatch tool. It's fallen to about a third of a chance now for a rate cut in December. Fed officials that we talk to, who we listen to every day in their public announcements, they're saying that even though we don't really know what's happening in the job market, and even though the job market looks like it's been weakening in some of those private sector data sources, we are flying even more blindly when it comes to the state of inflation and the state of price stability, which is the other side of their mandate. I think something that's really important to look at is some of the more dovish Fed officials. Even they are starting to say that they're really not ready to cut interest rates in December.
Yeah, it's going to be so crucial to see what happens when these numbers do come out. We're also learning too that the November jobs reports, they're going to be delayed about a week and a half in December.
Yeah, December 16th is when we can expect the November jobs report. It's also potentially possible, the Bureau of Labor Statistics has said that any of the establishment side, so that's the survey from the jobs report that involves surveying businesses on, their payrolls and their hiring plans. There's a possibility that for October could kind of be roped into the November report, but the other part of the jobs report, which involves surveying some 60,000 households, that looks like it probably won't be possible. I've been talking to economists for the past few weeks, and they've all kind of been saying here that it's pretty infeasible to retroactively collect that data, to ask households that sometimes amount to over 100,000 individuals to kind of recall what their employment situation looked like.
Oh, wow. Let's also talk about, lastly here, the momentum that we are seeing from, let's just face it, about 12 hours ago, there was a heavy talk that there was this big AI bubble that was continuing to grow more and more, but the NVIDIA earnings came and really put that to ease right now. I think investors are really going to be looking at this September jobs report coming out tomorrow and seeing, can this momentum continue and maybe not try to just bring it down right away before the market even opens tomorrow?
Yeah, you're right. The past few weeks of private sector data, showing that some of these cracks could be forming in the labor market. We've all kind of, without that federal data, been letting our scary, wild thoughts run wild. We just need to confirm what's happening more broadly in the economy with those official statistics. But kind of speaking about that AI side, something that we've been covering is that jobless boom, so to speak, where businesses are investing massively in AI and intellectual property, but that's taking away from the spending that they have to invest in payrolls and to invest in hiring. So you're seeing strong economic growth, strong top line numbers that's barely really translating into more jobs and eventually to Americans' paychecks.
Yeah, that's such a good point there. While it's helping these tech sectors hugely, companies with AI no doubt have been doing well. But is that transitioning to Main Street? I think that is what a lot of people are saying. Hey, what about me?
Yeah, yeah, jobless boom and the K-shaped economy really here with those upper income households, especially those who are invested in the stock market. We've seen a huge divergence in the way that they feel about the economy, their consumer sentiment levels, as opposed to those in the lower class and even middle income sectors who, in our bank rate data, increasingly looked tapped out.
There we go. Sarah, great to have you on here on Live Now from Fox. Great rundown of what we are going to be seeing tomorrow morning and beyond. We appreciate it as always.
Thank you for having me, Mike.